You are welcome to Nana's Tarot and Oracles. I am the Nana, and Nana loves you. You have a home here for comfort and contemplation, hope and inspiration, rest, renewal, and relaxation. Your readings will empower you to use your intuition to help you towards a better life. All readings are dedicated to truth and light, but cannot take the place of professional services of any kind. Readings are general, and if they do not sound right to you, they may not be for you today. Try another day. If you like what you're hearing, please select the like button below and subscribe with all notifications. It's free. Share with your friends or family. If you have a question or comment, I will try to answer it below. You are important to Nana, and Nana is always happy to have a chance to speak to you again. Today is July the 25th, and I have been dealing with the last phase of Mercury retrograde. It is now stationed to go direct, but it takes a while and there is a shadow period. Let me know in the comments how Mercury retrograde has affected you. Many people have told me they have struggled with it this time. I will say that there is a lot going on in astrology, and Adam Ellen Boss, who has a YouTube channel, Nightlight Astrology, says that we have a profound week ahead, and he has his 5 things to pay attention to. The first part is Venus and Mars tension. And Venus and Mars tension usually means tension between masculine and feminine aspects, and that can be internal or external, public or private. He also says the outer planets are speaking. This is again the Barbeau's basket, which is the arrangement in the chart that Barbeau, who had a history of very accurate predictions according to his method, predicted that this is a time, this forecasts great changes in power shifts and in society in a more progressive and humanist direction. We have Mercury direct. We've already discussed that. You can certainly look for it to take another week or 10 days to continue to sort out. We have a Sun and Pluto opposition developing that should come up on Monday. This is transformational death and rebirth energy, not literal death necessarily, but very serious transformational energy. And so keep that in mind, see how it applies to you. And then we have coming up on the 29th, which I believe is Wednesday, the biggest full moon of the year. Now that's the 5 things, but there's also the thing of where we have just changed over from the sign of Cancer into the sign of Leo. We also have the Sun and Jupiter in Leo. And these are pretty massive things. And the nodes of the moon, which is not planets or things specifically, but areas of the sky that the sun and moon cross over. The nodes of the moon are changing signs on the 26th, which is tomorrow. And this indicates that we are about to experience another eclipse season, and there will be a total solar eclipse on August the 12th. I do not think that we will see it here in North America, but it has a big astrological effect. Megan Riley, the feminist Hellenistic astrology student on the nodes, reminds us, though, that correspondence is not cause and that the sky is a mirror, not an alibi. And she talks about Sekhmet. Sekhmet is the lion goddess from Egypt, lion goddess of the sun. Considering the Sun and Jupiter in Leo, that seems important. Also, Regulus, which is one of the biggest stars, and that the nodal transits reflect what happened previously in 1989 and 2008. And if you think of those times, 1989 was the year that the Berlin Wall fell. Barbeau predicted that. And 2008 was the year of the last major financial crisis in America that may or may not reflect on our current times as we see all sorts of interesting hijinks in the economy. Molly McCord talks about Saturn stationing retrograde in Aries, and that occurs today. Saturn is the planet of structure, of restriction, of responsibility, and this is a time when we may need to consider these aspects. And remember that time plus effort usually equals rewards. Now, Astrology by Lauren. I highly recommend her newsletter. Her weekly astrology forecast calls for a cautious approach and a grand culmination. She says Mercury is now direct but slow going, especially in light of Saturn's station this week. This requires a cautious approach to things. The full moon and the cradle. Full moon in Aquarius this week is conjunct Pluto, while Jupiter is Cazimi, in other words, in the heart of the sun. This alone gives pause. Combine that with the stations of Mercury direct and Saturn retrograde and the true nodes changing signs, put that all together and we see the basket cradle brought to fruition with the full moon in Aquarius this week. That's an awful lot from an astrologer's point of view to find out what this all means. Go subscribe to her newsletter and she will be happy to explain it in great detail. And basically, she has some suggestions. What we are needing to cultivate with the influx of energy that the North Node in Aquarius brings. And this also has to do, I think, with Barbeau's basket, with our attention being shifted towards the greater whole, the community, and holding each other up, everyone doing their job. And then what we are being asked to release and or purify, because the full moon is a time of releasing what no longer serves. Being self-centered or egocentric, letting go of ideas about exceptionalism, and caring too much about what others think. So, lots of things to think about. I actually found a couple of things on Healing Energy Tools. I am building something meaningful with my life. My actions today create a better tomorrow. I inspire others through my growth and perseverance. The legacy I leave behind starts with what I do today. And I think this is a time when we also need to be reminded and affirm our gratitude. I'm thankful for every blessing in my life. Gratitude attracts even more abundance. I appreciate the beauty in each day. My heart is full of joy. I notice miracles all around me. Thankfulness fills my life with light. Some things to ponder. And here is a magnetic energy affirmation. I radiate confidence, positivity, and authenticity. People are naturally drawn to my energy. I attract opportunities that match my highest good. My presence makes a positive impact. Think on these things. I wanted to pull a few cards for today. Let's start with our Inner Temple Oracle from Rebecca Campbell. All cards have been shuffled. Let's see what we have for today. Today we have the Tall Poppy. The tall poppy is about standing out and how the tall poppy is the one that may get cut down. And it's true that in turbulent times, sometimes what we want to do is to keep our heads down. But sometimes we need to remember that it is important for us to stand up. And I think that may be what we are called to do. Excuse me. Here is the text on the tall poppy if you want to stop the video and read it. And the inner temple activation. I'm going to go directly to that. I'm drawn to it. I refuse to take up less space or dim my light in accordance with others' opinions. I allow the potency of my truth and my light to occupy each and every cell and take up the entire room unapologetically. Important things to remember and think about. I think that goes very well with our affirmations. And now, let's have a talisman oracle. Our talisman for today is mindfulness. And I will say that engaging in mindfulness, which may also involve the use of some of these affirmations, is useful because what is called for in these times is grounding, is breathing, is relaxing, and being here now. We discussed a meditation for the root chakra that may be helpful in grounding and in the use of mindfulness. Use this card when you need to recenter and find peace in the moment. When you have a hard time being patient with yourself, try taking a moment to envision the praying mantis staying still, Bring your hands to center and focus on your breath. Can you locate where in your body your emotions are resonating? Is something tense? What sounds do you hear around you? Your affirmation is, I am still. A worthy practice for this time. I was also called to get out my Alana Fairchild Sacred Rebels Oracle. And our card for today is Going Beyond Normal. It's a very interesting image. Number 14. Number 14 reduces to 5, which is the number of change. Here is the text. And since we have focused a lot on healing, I'm going straight to the healing process. Say aloud, I now call on unconditional love and ask for the blessings of the heart to be witnessed and sanctioned by the great universal creator, so that I may rise above small-mindedness and use the best of what human culture has to offer in service to love through my own free will, so be it. Visualize or imagine the feeling of being in a most gorgeous garden. It might be well manicured, a little bit wild, or a wildly overgrown jungle. Just notice it. Notice how all the plants work together and how it's supported by nature and the seasons. Notice that while some things thrive, others fall away, only to shift again with the seasons. There is such organizational genius. Say, may the wisdom and guiding hand of the great gardener who works with unconditional love nurture the garden of my soul into magnificence. I dare to live creatively from my heart and thrive. I think that goes pretty well with mindfulness. Let's get our significator card from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck today. Our significator card is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. Swords are the air signs. That's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The Queen is the highest internal expression of the air signs. The air signs are about mental processes and about clarity, about truth, and about communication. I also believe that particularly with the court cards, the Swords suit is about cutting the crap. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And we have divine counterparts here. The King of Swords, who is the highest expression of the external character of the sword suit. And he goes right along with that. And underneath that, we have the Sun. Major Arcana, the luckiest card in the deck, certainly appropriate in the time of the sign changing to Leo and of Jupiter in the Sun and in Leo. And this all looks very propitious to me. Let's have a rune. Our rune for today is Isa. immobilization, contraction, sacrifice. This to me speaks directly to the Saturn transit that I was discussing, with Saturn going retrograde and encouraging us to focus on our restrictions, on our responsibilities, and to slow down and review and see what we need to work on there. And the swords ensure that we will be honest with ourselves. And let's have a hexagram from I Ching, the Book of Changes. All right. Our hexagram for today is number 64, the last hexagram in the Ching. We have had this one also recently. Let's see what the wonderful Benny Bell Wind has to say. Hexagram 64, Wei Ji, toward an end. The Oracle. What is to be has not yet come to pass, but as you ford the river, you see the banks on the other side. You are about to peak in the situation at hand, but know that after every peak there comes a time of stagnation and then an inevitable decline. No one is above regulation. There is an order that every one of us must follow, a higher authority that each one of us must submit to. When you forget that, then that is the start of the decline. Remember, reaching the top is only the halfway point. I am drawn to this. The sage exercises caution in determining a proper order and must understand the power of the four cardinal directions. This again speaks to me of the Saturn retrograde. Here is the hexagram. It also says, I would note here, there will be a favorable outcome. I do like it. And I also got this hexagram 64, the hexagram of change. The overarching theme of the Book of Changes, and that is change. Thank you for tuning in to Nana's Tarot and Oracles today. You make Nana's day. Nana loves you and hopes you leave a question or a comment below. Select the like button, subscribe, and select all notifications. It's free. I will certainly record again at least on Wednesday, the day of the full moon. And I will see you again then in peace and love.